It's time for Dodger Baseball. Live from Dodger Stadium, Prime Ticket presents the Dodgers as they take on the Angels. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Sunday afternoon to you, wherever you may be. Final game of the three-game series. The Angels have won 2 in a row, looking for a sweep. The Dodgers have not been swept by the Angels ever before at Dodger Stadium, although they had it happen in 2007 in Anaheim. It'll be Carlos Monasterios trying to put a stop to the skid. He's 3-0 against Jared Weaver, who is 5-3. For the Angels, they're a half a game behind Texas. For the Dodgers, they are 1 game now behind San Diego. The Angels having a marvelous road trip. They've won 10 of 13. The Dodgers have won 8 of the last 12 at Dodger Stadium. We'll get to the ball game. We'll have it all coming up for you right after this.
Freeway Series, Angels and the Dodgers. Let's get to our Lexus pursuing perfection for that. We're going to look at the schedule, Steve, because if you want to watch the Dodgers, you're going to have to do it on TV, and make sure you send some positive vibes into that television.
Yeah, I hope you have a big screen with a lot of popcorn, high def. Look, you go to Cincinnati, that's going to be fun. And then Boston. Manny's return back to Boston should be a great time. Dodgers haven't been back there too often. Then right back to play Los Angeles Angels down in Anaheim. And then a huge series they've been promoting all season long against the New York Yankees back here at home. But that's it. 3 games at home in the next couple of weeks. Then it's back into the division for San Francisco and Arizona.
Steve, you said it'd be a good time going to Boston for who? You think Manny's going to have a good time? How will he be treated at Fenway?
I think it's going to be 50-50. I think half the people are going to boo him. I think half the people are going to cheer him back. It's been a little while since he's been back there. And people in Boston understand championships. They've only won 2. He was there for both of them.
And Joe Torre, also, he's had some experiences there.
Yes,
There's going to be
a
lot of booing.
Joe will get
booed. All right, well, we're looking forward to that. But up next, let's see if the Dodgers can avoid being swept by the Angels. When we come back here on Prime Ticket on High Def, it will be the Freeway Series, the Angels and the Dodgers, and it's next.
By Shakey's. This player has the highest lifetime batting average of .367. Go to Shakey's.com/trivia. By AT&T. TV, high-speed internet, home phone, and wireless. Visit att.com or call 1-800-TICK-ATT for details. And by Southwest Airlines. Go to southwest.com. Grab your bag. It's on. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Sunday to you, wherever you may be. The Dodgers and the Angels finishing up a 3-game series. The Dodgers faced with the ups and downs of a season. They were on a high, let's face it. Wednesday night, they swept the St. Louis Cardinals. It was the first time they had ever swept the Cardinals here in 3 straight. But now they're faced with the cold reality, on the edge of losing 3 straight to the Angels at Dodger Stadium. That has never happened. The Dodgers were swept once in Anaheim. But now 0-2 against a strong Angel club, and it'll be Jared Weaver and Carlos Monasterios. The Angels are a half a game behind Texas. The Dodgers are 1 game behind San Diego. And here's the Angel lineup. Eric Ibar at short and Meiser Asturias at third base. Bobby Abreu in right field and Torrey Hunter in center. Hideki Matsui celebrating his 36th birthday yesterday, and he's back in the starting lineup today. Howie Kendrick hits back at him at second base. Mike Napoli, who played first base last night, goes behind the plate again. Rob Quinlan takes over at first base and bats eighth, and Jared Weaver on the mound. On the mound for the Dodgers, the 24-year-old Carlos Monasterio, who has certainly given the Dodgers a big lift. Whether he will have another start after today really remains, I guess, on what happens with Vicente Padilla. It will be his fourth start, a regular start in the rotation, and he has won, or at least the Dodgers have won, all four of those starts. He is 6'2", only 175, out of Miranda, Venezuela. And against the Cardinals, he allowed 4 hits, got through 6 innings, despite striking out anybody. And you talk about pitching to contact. In that game against the Cardinals, there was only 1 swing and a miss all night. So let's see what he can do against a very good Angel club with Ibar, Asturias, and Abreu ready to go after him. We're waiting for Manny Ramirez, who went out to left field and now comes walking back in. So we'll have to just wait and see what happened. I'm not sure if it's an equipment problem. He needs sunglasses, and I think it's sunglasses. Yep, that's what it is. So that'll give us a chance to remind you of a couple of things. The Angels, with runners in scoring position, are 8 for 22. That adds up to a 364 batting average to satisfy Mike Sosa. The Dodgers are ice cold. With runners in scoring position, they are 1 for 14. That's a batting edge of .071. So here we go now. And the first pitch to Ibar, he runs up to bunt but takes outside, ball 1-0. Eric, a very hot hitter. He has 11 hits in his last 19 at-bats, hitting .426 for a month. So his average up to .277. He pulls a ground ball, smothered at second base, but no play by Blake DeWitt. Blake diving on the grass to smother it, but could not recover. So Ibar leads off with a single, and the Angels hope that they're off and running. Ibar last night had 2 singles, and in the game before he had 3 singles. So Eric, leading off, has a half a dozen hits in the 3-game series. Beautiful day, 75 degrees. So with a runner at first, nobody out, Meiser is Turris up there, and the left-hand hitter takes high, ball 1, switch hitter. And Turris checks in and waiting. Meiser batting .253, 2 home runs, 14 runs batted in. Monasterios at the belt, looks over his shoulder at first, now comes back for a strike, bluffed by Martin. That sends Ibar back to the bag. Eric Ibar, as the leadoff man, has also stolen 10 out of 15. So the Dodgers really have to keep an eye on him. And as you probably know, Mike Sosa loves the running game. Here's the 1-1 pitch, instead of throw to first. One of the hidden comparisons, in the sense that teams, you don't really read about it, but if you match up the Dodgers and the Angels in sacrifices, you see a big difference. The Dodgers have sacrificed 37 times. The Sosa's club only 15. And the next pitch, line foul down the right field line. So the count goes to 1-2. So the Angels have never swept a 3-game series at Dodger Stadium, but they certainly are on a high. This is the last game of a 14-game road trip, and the Angels are 10-3 going in. 1-2 as Monasterio straightens up. There goes the runner. The pitch is outside. The throw down. He's in there. And so, once again, the Angels run and run well. And that's the 11th stolen base for Eric Ibar. Ibar got a good jump. Martin released it accurately, but not in time. So now a runner at second, nobody out. 2-2 the count to Meiser Turris, and then the big boys, Abreu, Hunter, and Matsui. The Angels 10-3 on their current road trip. The Dodgers are 8-4 on their current homestand. Out of a stretch goes Monasterios, looks back at second. Now the right-hander deals, and it's foul back. It is not the first time that the Angels have come to Dodger Stadium and won the first 2 games of a series, only to lose Game 3. It happened in 2004 and again in 2005. So the Angels and Dodgers, they'll get together in Anaheim starting on the 22nd of the month. The next pitch in the dirt, pushed in by Russell Martin up along third base, and the count 3-2. Last time the Dodgers suffered a sweep at Dodger Stadium was back in 2008 when Houston swept them 3 in the middle of May. 3-2 the count. Monasterio spins at the waist, looks into Martin, now straightens up, and the 3-2 pitch to Visturis is fouled away. Beyond Visturis, you have Abreu, Hunter, and Matsui, and another big difference is looking at the lineups, number 3 through number 7. For the Angels, 3 through 7, they're hitting .333 with 13 runs batted in. The Dodgers 3 through 7, 1 for 35. That was Loney's home run. Here's the 3-2 pitch again. Monasterios looks back at Ibar. Carlos to the plate. High fly ball to shallow center. Johnson coming in. Reed waiting and makes the catch. So Ibar has nowhere to go. There's Turris a fly ball for an out. And the batter now will be Bobby Abreu. Abreu, in his long and distinguished career, has done exceptionally well in interleague play. He has 28 home runs and 132 RBIs, a career .305 batting average playing against the other league, whether he's in the National League or now with the Angels. He has not done well on the road trip, but he gets on base one way or another. We'll see if Bobby swings at the first pitch. That is a rarest thing, like a day in June. He takes ball 1. He did swing at the first pitch for the only time in the series, but he did that with a purpose. That's when he came up with a runner at second, nobody out, and pulled the first pitch in order to get his man over to third. 1-0 the count to Bobby Abreu, batting .256. Monasterios turns in a bluff to get Ibar back to the bag. We'll keep an eye on San Diego when that ball game gets underway, and we'll also see what happens up in the Bay Area where the Giants are playing Oakland. 1 ball and no strikes, the count to Bobby Abreu, and here comes the pitch. It is down and away, ball 2. Abreu is like a Todd Helton. He sees more pitches in every plate appearance than just about anybody else in the league. Last year, he swung at only 32% of all the pitches he looked at, an extremely low rate. So he has a runner at second with 1 out. 2-0 to count to Bobby. Abreu, 36 years old. The left-hand hitter waiting, and the pitch to him is taken for a strike on the outside corner, and the count 2-1. Only 5 players in Major League history, 5 different seasons with 100 RBIs and 30 stolen bases. Barry Bonds, Hugh Duffy, Honus Wagner, Ty Cobb, and Bobby Abreu. Now the 2-1 pitch on the way to Bobby, and the left-hand hitter looks at another strike. Though it's typical, he's up there for 4 pitches. That's a good average at bat for Bobby Abreu. Bobby in and out of the box. 2-2 the count. With 1 out, a runner at second, just starting. Another nice crowd on a gorgeous Sunday afternoon. Here's the 2-2 pitch on the way. Monasterios works it inside. Ball 3. In looking at young Carlos and what he has done, 11 walks, 17 strikeouts, fewer hits than innings pitched, and a record of 3-0 with a very good earned run average of 2.2. Monasterio straightens up again. Another look back at Ibar. And the 3-2 pitch on the way, swung on, hit into center, base hit. Charging is Johnson to make a play, but it's going to be cut off by Loney as Ibar scores, and the Angels immediately jump out in front, 1-0. In the first game of the series, the Angels scored in the third inning, and the Dodgers found themselves behind. Last night, the Angels scored 3 in the third inning, and again the Dodgers were behind. And now here they are, 1-0 Angels in the first inning. A Bobby Abreu single to center to cash in Eric Ibar. So 1-0 in favor of the Angels. And now the batter is Torrey Hunter, hitting .288, 9 home runs, 44 runs batted in. Torrey's had 4 RBIs in the 2 games. He got rich in a hurry when he cleared the bases with a double. And the first pitch, the right-hand hitter is in for a strike, and the count 0-1. Torrey, red hot, 37 runs batted in his last 38 games. So Torrey, big right-hand batter, waiting. Abreu off the bag at first, 1-0 Angels. Throw over there. Bobby diving back. Abreu at 36 has still stolen 9 bases. So Abreu at first, 1-0 in favor of the Angels. Hunter followed by the birthday boy yesterday, Hideki Matsui. Monasterios ready, and another throw to first, and Abreu back. Torrey Hunter, the pride of Pine Bluff, Arkansas, looks down to Dino Abell, checking to see if there's a play in the works. Ibar had an infield single, stole second, and Abreu sent him home with a base hit. The strike 1 pitch coming up, and Monasterios deals good fastball, swung on and missed, and the count 0-2 to Torrey. In looking at Hunter's numbers, he has walked 22 times, struck out 45, but with 44 RBIs, that's a good deal. 0-2 the count to the 9-time Gold Glove winner, Torrey Hunter. Out of a stretch is Monasterios. Another look at Abreu. He's not going, and Hunter takes down and dirty, blocked by Martin, and they'll put a new ball in play. Angels go home following this game, and the Dodgers hit the road tomorrow. They will go to Cincinnati on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, then to Boston to Fenway Park for the weekend, then to Anaheim before coming home to play the Yankees, and then go back out on the road again with the Giants. So after today, the Dodgers have 3 home games left this month. The pitch to Hunter in the dirt. The throw down to first, not in time. Abreu on that pitch in the dirt started to go to second, thought better of it, and just did get back to the bag. Martin keeps looking down there as if he thought maybe he had gotten him. Abreu probably went about 20-25 feet off the bag, but he did get back. Larry Vanover right there to call. The hand was on the bag before the touch. So 2-2 the count to Torrey Hunter. Abreu again taking that lead. Monasterios looking over at him, still watching, and throws again. It's a pretty good lead. It's not the best lead. You know how the infield has a cutout at each corner. If the back foot reaches the point of the cutout, you just about have to throw over there. Right now, Abreu's front foot is at the point, not the back. It's still a good lead. The 2-2 pitch on the way. The runner goes, and it's fouled away. So Bobby took the good lead, and he was going, but that's a trademark of Sosa. Among other things, last year, the Angels were absolutely terrific in going from first to third on base hits. So Mike likes a club that runs. One-nothing Angels, first inning. 2-2 the count. Monasterios delivers low in the dirt, blocked again by Martin. Boy, it's a tough inning for Russell Martin. He has been in the dirt, period. 3-2 the count. So they were running Abreu 2-2, and it figures they'll probably run him 3-2 with one out. Another thought about Hunter, he has grounded into 7 double plays. That's high on the club. So chances are very good to try and stay out of the double play. They'll run Abreu. Monasterio set, ready. There goes Abreu, and the pitch is ball 4 to settle the issue. So first and second, 1 out, and Hideki Matsui coming up. Coming up the steps of the Dodger dugout, Rick Honeycutt, and he's on his way to the mound. Interesting thing about Hideki Matsui, he did not play on his birthday. He was rested yesterday. And Matsui, at the age of 36 years old, they looked back through the books and they found out that Socia was doing the Dodgers a favor by keeping Matsui out of the lineup because he has homered a couple of times on his birthday. So when he did come up to bat last night, they walked him intentionally. 36 years old, but he was the MVP, remember, in the World Series with the Phillies. He had 6 RBIs in Game 6 of the series. So a rather remarkable player from Japan. Monasterios, meanwhile, making so many pitches here in the first inning. This will be his 24th as Matsui, the left-hand hitter, waits at the plate. 2 on, 1 out. Monasterios drops the pitch in there for a strike. Off speed. 0-1 the count. They called him Godzilla in Japan, and yet if you explore that a little more, I think we have a totally different feeling about Godzilla. Over here, perhaps a frightening figure. In Japan, supposedly a big-hearted character. Strike 1 pitch, and Matsui takes tight inside. 1-1. He has 37 RBIs. He had the big double to drive in a bunch the other night. Matsui had 3 RBIs in Game 1. He promptly smokes it into left field for a base hit. Abreu is going to be waved in to score. The throw by Ramirez to third is in time, and that takes care of Hunter. But the Angels pick up another and lead 2-0. So Matsui, a line drive single to left, picks up the run, only to have Hunter cut down from Manny Ramirez to the third baseman, Ronnie Belliard. 2-0 in favor of the Angels, and the throw was there in plenty of time to get Hunter. So now, talking about RBIs, here's Howie Kendrick. Kendrick has 17 RBIs in the last 13 games, and he takes a strike, and he's been wearing the Dodgers out. Last night he had 2 doubles, and the night before he had 2 singles and a home run. So he's had 5 hits, and he has punished the Dodgers. 40 RBIs, 5 home runs, and a .265 average, and the right-hand hitter takes a strike. 0-2. Kendrick had a day off, and there are some folks who feel he was really re-energized, and he's just come back to play super. Two to nothing Angels in the first inning. Monasterios delivers, and he's in the dirt on a check swing. Picked up by Martin. The out recorded at first, and that's the end of the inning. However, not before the Angels get 2 runs on 3 hits. And at the end of half an inning, Angels 2, Dodgers coming up.
pitches in the first inning. Now the Dodgers coming up. Rafael Furcal and Russell Martin, followed by Andre Ethier and Manny Ramirez, James Loney and Ronnie Belliard. Reed Johnson is in center, Blake DeWitt and Carlos Monasterio. On the mound for the Angels would be Jared Weaver. Born in Northridge, lives over in Simi Valley, went to school at Long Beach State, the younger brother of Dodger pitcher Jeff Weaver, I'm sure you know. Jared is 6'7", 210 pounds, and the big guy starts with a fastball low and inside, ball one. I guess Weaver will never come to Dodger Stadium without forgetting June the 28th, 2008. The 1-0 pitch, Rafael swings and belts it to right down the line. Going over in the corner is Abreu, reaches in, and the ball is gone. Home run for Rafael Furcal. Abreu tried to catch it, but just ran out of real estate. A high fly ball down the right field line. Abreu running on the track right to the box seat. Reached in, but the ball was beyond his reach. And the Dodgers get one-on-one swing. So that makes it 2-1 Angels. And Weaver now working on Russell Martin. Russell takes ball one. For Rafael Furcal, his second home run of the year. For Jeff Weaver, by the way, that would be the 10th home run that he has allowed. The 1-0 pitch, Martin takes low, ball two. We were talking about Jared Weaver about June of 2008, where for 6 innings he pitched a no-hitter here. The 2-0 pitch is taken for a strike. In the 5th inning of that game, Matt Kemp reached, hit a little dribbler up along first base, and Jared overran it for an error. And then Kemp stole second. The throw from Jeff Mathis went into center field, so Matt went to third, scored on a fly ball. And despite the fact that Arredondo came in to pitch the last couple of innings, the Dodgers never got a hit and still won the game 1-0, with Billingsley, Broxton, and Saito holding on to the shutout. So now, no thoughts of no-hitters, no thoughts of shutouts. The leadoff man hits a home run, and he's 3-2 to Russell Martin. Weaver works in a hurry. Jared comes back, and that's foul back. His first name is J-E-R-E-D. It is not Jared, it's Jared, and he was named after both his uncle Jerry and his late grandfather Edwin. And as a kid growing up, he was a catcher and pitcher until he got into junior high. 3-2 pitch, and Martin swings and misses, and down he goes. So 1 out in the first inning, and the batter will be Andre Ethier.
Number 16.
Martin, fastball up and in, came up empty. So here's Andre Ethier batting .351, 11 home runs, 40 RBIs. Like everybody else, he had a dry night last night, 0 for 3 with a walk. In fact, the Dodger problems, inability to hit with runners in scoring position, inability to score any runs at all. Weaver delivers, and it is swung on and missed. If you put Andre Ethier, Manny Ramirez, and Matt Kemp together, they are 0 for 19 collectively. And Matt Kemp is really 0 for 15, and they're sitting him down today as line drive foul into the chairs down the right field line. 0-2 the count to Andre. Ethier last night, the hardest hit ball he hit with runners at second and third, he hit it right at Bobby Abreu. Here's the strike 2 pitch coming up. Andre, after a bad ball, that seemed to be up over his shoulders, and down he goes. So, tell you the truth, watching Martin and Ethier, they are certainly pressing, trying to do something. And a pitch way up out of the strike zone, and with 2 down, Manny Ramirez coming up. So Ethier quietly goes back to the dugout, and Weaver concentrating on Ramirez. who appeared as a pinch hitter in the 9th inning last night and popped up. So Manny struggling like the rest of the club. And the first pitch from Weaver, check swing, ball 1. Since returning after being out on the DL, Manny's hitting just .207, even though he has a .271 batting average for the year. He swings, fouls it away. 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, Manny Ramirez, rested yesterday, has never had any success against Weaver. 2 for 12. Jared looks in, getting his sign. Now the 1-1 pitch on the way. Swung on and full foul outside of third. And the count 1-2. So Manny was sitting on the fastball and just pulled it too much. Jared Weaver in his career 3-2 against the Dodgers and an ERA of just under 3. Manny back up and waiting, 1-2. Weaver to the windup, and the next pitch fouled away. For Jared Weaver, this is his 7th career start against the Dodgers. He was 0-1 last year against them. Here at Dodger Stadium, his earned run average is a half a run. And the 1-2 pitch on the way. Manny takes down and away. 2-2 the count. On deck, James Loney. Manny waits. Weaver looks. And his 2-2 pitch on the way. Breaking ball away. Little slider up. 3-2. I'll tell you one thing. You don't have to be up there at home plate to realize the problem as a hitter. At 6'7", he's on a 10-inch mound, and he is all elbows and kneecaps. And then that ball at strike 3 call. Manny was on his way to first base. He thought the slider was up out of the zone. Mark Carlson says no. So it turns out after the leadoff home run by Furcal, he has 14 as a Dodger and 26 in his career. The leading Dodger leadoff home run hitter, Davey Lopes, had 28. So now leading off Mike Napoli, and Napoli takes the first pitch for ball 1. Mike is 1 for 8 in the series, picked up his only hit last night in the 6th inning. He also walked, and he is caught, played first, and back behind the plate again. And Napoli takes off the plate ball too. So Monasterios is fighting it. He made 29 pitches in the first inning and gave up 2 runs, 3 hits, a walk, a stolen base. The 2-0 pitch to the right hand hitting Napoli is taken high, ball 3. 3-0 the count. Monasterios, as we told you coming in, he has 12 walks, 18 strikeouts. Now the 3-0 pitch on the way to Mike Napoli, and that's low, ball 4. So he made 29 pitches in the first inning and misses all 4, opening up the second. And Rob Quinlan, the first baseman, checking in. Rob doesn't play too often, of course. When Kendry Morales was here, he just took over. And the Angels, losing their best hitter, their power plug in Morales, nevertheless moving along nicely, and they've won 10 of 13 on their road trip. Monasterios deals. Quinlan shows bunt and then pulls the bat back. 1 ball and no strikes to Rob. Jared Weaver is on deck. Dino Ebel coaching at third. Alfredo Griffin at first for Mike Scioscia. 1 ball and no strikes to Quinlan, hitting 148. Right hand batter shows bunt, takes a strike. Quinlan has only appeared in 15 games for Scioscia. He does not have a sacrifice. Weaver waiting on deck. Now the 1-1 pitch on the way. Quinlan swings, fouls it back, and the count 1-2. Weaver's only had 3 at-bats, remember, in the American League, so you never can tell about the number 8 hitter in interleague play as far as an American League team is concerned. 1-2 the count to Rob Quinlan. Out of a stretch goes Monasterios. It's 2-1 Angels, second inning. Quinlan sprays 1 foul down the right field line out of play, and the count stays 1-2. Down south, Felix Hernandez and Clayton Richard, and in the bottom of the third inning, Tony Gwynn chip off the old block. Not only was it a 2-run home run, it was inside the park. I can't imagine his dad having an inside the park home run, but young Tony did today, and the Padres are out in front. 1-2 the count to Rob Quinlan. Monasterios at the belt. Here he comes, and it is pulled foul up along third, and the count remains 1-2. For the Dodgers, they leave Dodger Stadium to go on the road. They are 13-14 on the road. They'll be playing Cincinnati in their first place in the Central, a game and a half in front of St. Louis. Here's the 1-2 pitch coming up. Monasterios delivers, and it is swung on and missed, and down goes Quinlan. 1 away. That would be the second strikeout for young Carlos, and it'll bring up Jared Weaver. One of the strange things about the schedule, the Dodgers went to Cincinnati April the 20th and played them 3 times. Now they go to Cincinnati again on the 15th of June. And they have yet to play the Giants in San Francisco. Pitch in for a strike to Weaver. Dodgers will be in San Francisco the very end of June. So Weaver, who brings up that 6'7" strike zone, takes a look at Dino Ebel. And now Jared steps back up to the plate. Napoli at first, 1 out. And certainly, as an American League pitcher, he's going to swing, and he hits a ground ball by the drawn-in Loney for a base hit. And going to third is Napoli. And once again, it's the old story. Mike Scioscia gives up a sacrifice like somebody would give up a tattoo. He just does not do it, even with one of his own pitchers coming over without much experience swinging the bat. Weaver showed bunt, pulled the bat back, and promptly banged it right by the drawn-in Loney. A great piece of hitting. So just like that, first and third, one out, and the batter will be the red hot Eric Ibar. 2 runs, 4 hits for the Angels, looking for more with one out. And here is Ibar, a very hot hitter. Out of his stretch goes Monasterios, works it inside, ball 1. 1-0 the count to Eric. Ibar 12 hits in his last 20 at bats. He's been, as they used to say, unconscious on the road with 22 hits, hitting .423 on the trip. Left-hand hitter takes a strike. He is a switch hitter, of course, batting left-handed. 1-1 the count. So Weaver fools the Dodgers, and the Angels with first and third and one away. Out of a stretch goes Monasterios. Runners at the corners, and Ibar pulls it to Loney. He goes to Furcal. Back to Loney. Picture double play, and that's the inning. So despite the walk and the base hit, the Dodgers turn it 3-6-3. And at the end of an inning and a half, Angels 2, Dodgers 1. Belliard, and then Reed Johnson. Well, Jared Weaver doing the same thing he always does. In fact, we'll have to put a camera on him and show you. He goes through a complete routine out there, going behind the mound, stretching his legs. Now he's ready. Loney waits, hitting .286, and he takes the first pitch up, ball 1, 1-0. When Weaver goes through his routine behind the mound, there's a lot of thought behind it. The 1-0 pitch on the way very high, ball 2, 2-0. It was a while ago, but Jeff Weaver at one time went to a sports psychologist, Ken Ravizza, when he was at Long Beach State. Loney, meanwhile, pulls one into the hole for a base hit to right field. So the Dodgers have the tying run on, trailing 2-1 in the second inning. And Ronnie Belliard coming up. Here's Jared Weaver behind the mound. Watch this. Before the first pitch, he always does this. He stretches, touches his toes, then a knee bend, then shakes his right arm, then stretches the right leg and the hamstring, and then gets up on the mound. One of the things that Ken Ravizza did when Jared was at Long Beach, he put two baseballs together and handed it to him. And Jared looked at the two balls taped together. He's ready to pitch to Belliard, and it's outside, ball one. Anyway, he looked at Ravizza, and Ken said to him, hard to throw two balls at once, isn't it? And Weaver said yes. He said, well, that's the theory. Forget the previous pitch. You pitch this game one pitch at a time. You don't make this pitch based on the pitch that you just made. Here's the 1-0 pitch on the way, swung on, hit in the air down the right field line. Slicing foul, Abreu coming over, but it's out of play. And the count 1 ball and 1 strike. So when Jared Weaver goes out to the mound, before every inning, what he's doing, among other things, is mental preparation. Jeff, 2 fastballs, the 4-seamer and the 2-seamer. He also has a slider, curveball, and a change. He comes with a pitch swung on and missed by Belliard, and a 1-2 count. We talked a little while ago about Weaver losing a no-hitter to the Dodgers. Well, we've had enough perfect games and no-hitters, but to lose one is pretty much of a story. The pitch to Belliard is hit off first base in the air. Coming over is Quinlan to make the catch, so Belliard fouls out. 1 away. You know, the only way to see the Dodgers and Yankees is with a Dodger ticket plan, and the plans start at $12 per seat. Individual tickets not available. So buy today at Dodgers.com or call 866-DODGERS. And the batter will be Reed Johnson. Just to finish it up, since 1900, there have been 4 no-hit losses. The previous one before Jared's loss here in 2008 was Matt Young in 1992. The pitch to Reed Johnson, a strike. Most of those no-hitters, like Weaver, he went 6. Matt Young went 8. The only pitcher to go 9 innings and lose a no-hitter was Ken Johnson with the Houston Astros, and that was back in 1964. 0-1 the count to Reed Johnson, hitting .300, spelling Matt Kemp. Reed shows bunt and takes it off the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike. Matt Kemp obviously needed a little rest time. He was 0 for his last 15. And it is a grind day in and day out. So no matter how strong he might appear, flesh and blood. Last 10 games, 175 batting average for Matt. Now the 1-1 pitch to Reed Johnson, and that's a check swing for a strike, and the count 1-2. Angels last year dominated the National League. They were 14-4. Right now they're 3-2. The Dodgers the other way around, 2-3. Now the 1-2 pitch coming up. Jared Weaver delivers. Johnson fouls it away. The Dodgers have never had great luck, certainly, in interleague play. Going all the way back, the Dodgers have won 101, but they've lost 113. And of course, interleague play began in 1997. Last year they were 9-9. 1-2 the count to Reed Johnson. Weaver delivers. Fastball up. 2-2 the count. That was kind of the pitch that was swung on and missed by Ethier and was called out as strike 3 against Ramirez. So Weaver's had luck pitching up. 2-2 the count. Jared spins the ball around in his right hand as he straightens up. The 2-2 pitch to Reed Johnson. Weaver delivers, swung on and missed. So that's the 4th strikeout. Weaver struck out the side in the first inning, and the batter will be Blake DeWitt.
Number 33.
Weaver came into the game 22 walks, 89 strikeouts, better than 4-1, and now he adds 4 more, so 22 walks and 93 strikeouts. Interesting, Weaver's hit a bad spell. He has just 1 win in his last 6 starts, but he's been very effective, and the pitch to DeWitt, a strike. Jared Weaver has allowed 2 runs or less 9 times of his 13 starts. 0-1 the count. Jared straightens up, set at the belt. There goes the runner. The pitch outside. Napoli's throw is late, bobbled, and dropped by Ibar. So Loney is safely into second. Every time Loney steals, it seems like a surprise until you realize that James has stolen 9 out of 12. So he doesn't go that often, but when he does go, his ratio of success is very, very good. So the Dodgers have the tying run at second base with 2 out. Now let's see if they bother with DeWitt. Monasterios on deck. 1-1 to the number 8 hitter in the lineup, Blake DeWitt. Weaver a high set, looks at second, works the plate, hit in the air to straightaway center. At the other end of it is a glistening gold glove caught by Torrey Hunter. So no runs, 1 hit. The Dodgers leave a man again in scoring position, and at the end of 2-1 Angels. Two to one in favor of the Angels as we go to the 3rd inning. What has to be maddening for the Dodgers, their inability to come up with a hit with runners in scoring position. When DeWitt flied to center after Loney had stolen second, the Dodgers are 1 for 15 with runners in scoring position during this series. And what is really maddening, remember, the Dodgers ranked 2nd in the major leagues with a .282 batting average with runners in scoring position, but it has not come to fruition in the first 2 games for sure. Meanwhile, it'll be Mesa Izturis, Bobby Abreu, and Torrey Hunter, and the fastball is away, ball 1. Down south, after the crowd saw Tony Gwynn have a 2-run inside the park home run, the Mariners were heard from. Ground ball to the right side to DeWitt, and that'll do it for Izturis. 1 away. Milton Bradley just hit a 2-run home run for the Mariners, top of the 4th inning, to tie up that game 2-2. So 1 away, and here is Bobby Abreu, who singled to drive in Ibar in the 1st inning. Angels 2 runs, 4 hits. Dodgers 1 run, 1 swing of the bat by Rafael Furcal. Monasterio looking for some quick outs. He made a lot of pitches in the first 2 innings, and he gets a strike, and as usual Abreu takes it. 0-1 to Bobby. Monasterio had a 29 pitch first inning, 15 pitches last inning, so he took the mound having already made 44. Got a quick out with his tourists, and now the man who makes you work, Abreu, at the plate. Bobby holds up, takes another strike, and the count 0-2. You have to have a lot of confidence, and it is well placed with Abreu to take as many pitches. Strike 2 pitch in the dirt, ball 1, 1-2. You know, we were talking about Tony Gwynn Jr. hitting the inside the park home run, and off the cuff reference about whether his father had done it. His dad had 2, including an inside the park grand slam here at Dodger Stadium. Here's the 1-2 pitch on the way, check swing. They look, no swing, 2-2. Yeah, can you imagine Tony Gwynn hitting an inside the park grand slam home run here? That's the only inside the park grand slam in San Diego history. 2-2, now 3-2, and Monasterio delivers hard ground ball. Blake DeWitt's in front of it and throws him out. 2 down. We have a great group of people furnishing me with interesting tidbits like that. I don't want you to get the wrong impression that I know everything. In fact, I know nothing. But thanks to the crew, Mitch Reinhardt, Brian Hagan, they're forever helping me out, finishing up stories, and I hope you appreciate their work. The pitch now to Torrey Hunter is low, ball 1, 1-0. Torrey drew a walk and was out trying to go to third from first on a single by Matsui. Manny Ramirez got him, and Hunter hits a high drive to center. Back goes Johnson to the track at the wall, leaps up in the air. It's gone. Home run for Torrey Hunter, his 10th home run, 45 runs batted in, and the Angels lead 3-1. For young Monasterios, that would be the 6th home run that he has allowed, and Torrey's 10th. 3 runs, 5 hits, and the Angels scored 2 in the first inning, gave back 1. Now they're back up with a 2-run advantage thanks to Torrey Hunter. Reed Johnson climbing the wall, but he couldn't get it. So now Hideki Matsui, whose single to left, checks in as Torrey makes that cool walk in the dugout. Matsui takes away, ball 1. So 3 runs, 5 hits for the Angels, 1 run, 2 hits for the Dodgers. Just in the top of the 3rd. Matsui waiting, and the 1-0 pitch, Hideki takes low, ball 2. Batting .264, 9 home runs, 38 runs batted in. So Monasterio struggling. Remember, he came in 3 wins and no losses. His earned run average was 2.2, but he's given up 3 in 2 2/3 innings. Now the 2-0 pitch, and that's low, ball 3. On deck, Howie Kendrick. The Carlos Monasterios, 24 years old, from Miranda in Venezuela, and his 3-0 pitch, Matsui takes a strike, 3-1. Monasterios, 6'2", 175, and was originally signed as a free agent by the Yankees. Then he went from the Yankees to the Phillies organization and eventually with the Dodgers. 3-1 pitch, fastball hit down the left field line. There's nobody there. That's going to roll to the box seats. And into second base goes Matsui with a wrong field double. So he's 2 for 2 going the other way. A single to left and a double to left. And the batter will be Howie Kendrick.
Now batting second baseman Howie Kendrick.
3 runs on 6 hits for the Angels, trying to finish up a successful road trip and go 11-3. Dodgers trying to finish up a successful homestand, trying to go 9-4. But it's the Angels leading 3-1, and the batter Kendrick struck out in the first inning. Monasterios way outside and low. Nice backhanded save by Russell Martin. Ball 1. Howie, 17 RBIs over a 13-game stretch, hitting .305. So he's been blazing hot for 2 weeks. Hitting overall .264. And the 1-0 pitch on the way, swung on and missed. 1-1. When the Dodgers come up in the bottom of the third, they'll have Monasterios, then Furcal and Martin. Angels 3, Dodgers 1 in the third. Out of a stretch is Monasterios. His 1-1 pitch on the way is lined down the right field area for a base hit. Ethier is going to have to go to the box seats to get that. Matsui scores on a double by Kendrick, and it is 4-1 Angels. You know, the other night, the Angels scored 10 runs against the Dodgers. All 10 runs were scored after there were 2 out. Well, we had 2 out here in the third inning. And Hunter homered. Then Matsui doubles. Then Kendrick doubles. And the Angels are up 4-1, and the batter will be Mike Napoli. So for the Dodgers, the entire series has been so near and yet so far, whether it's pitching where it looks like the inning is almost over, or hitting where there's somebody in runners in scoring position. So for Joe Torre, a painful time right now. And Rick Honeycutt is going out to the mound. There's no one throwing in the Dodger bullpen. Among other things, it's early, and Monasterios is due to lead off in the bottom of the third. But now they're going to move the furniture around down there, and wouldn't you know, it'll be Jeff Weaver getting up. So Honeycutt is holding court while Jeff gets up. There had been talk, but it was only talk, about would Jeff Weaver go up against his brother again. Remember, they tried that once down in Anaheim. The Weavers' mom and dad are here taking in the ball game, so it'd be just as well that Jeff does not get in the game. That had to be extremely difficult when the Weavers played against each other. Their parents on the screen right now. Naturally, they would be rooting for Jared. After all, he's pitching. But if Jeff gets in there, then it gets a little complicated. All right, Kendrick at second. Napoli swings and doesn't get it. And the count 0-1. 4 runs, 7 hits for the Angels. They had 3 hits and 2 runs in the first inning. And with 2 out, a home run by Hunter, a double by Matsui, a double by Kendrick to make it 4-1. The strike 1 pitch, Napoli takes in the dirt. The Dodger run, 1 swing of the bat by Rafael Furcal. And just to rub a little salt in the wound, the Dodgers left a runner in scoring position in the second inning, a constant reminder of their inability to do that during the series. Pick him up. 1-1 pitch off the plate, ball 2. 2-1. Rob Quinlan, 8th in the lineup, out on deck. Monasterios had made 44 pitches going into this inning. Now the young right-hander ready, and the 2-1 pitch to Mike Napoli, a check swing, but it's going to cost him a strike, and the count 2-2. Napoli struck out his last at bat last night The night before, he had one of those brutal games. He struck out 4 times. Not as bad as young Jason Hayward, who struck out 5. Here's the 2-2 pitch coming up, and it is low. Ball 3. The Monasterios has allowed 4 runs, 7 hits. He has walked 2. He has 2 strikeouts. Carlos straightens up. 3-2 pitch to Mike Napoli, and it's in the dirt, bouncing high in the air down to third base goes Kendrick. So it'll be a wild pitch on ball 4. So Napoli walks a second time, and with a runner at third and 2 out, the batter will be Rob Quinlan. Well, that ball went off the heel of the catcher's mitt and went high in the air. Martin had to wait, and by the time he got it down to third, Kendrick was in there easily. So with the wild pitch going against him, that is the 4th wild pitch made by Carlos Monasterios. So we mentioned when the game began, for this starting assignment, Monasterios would become very questionable in the rotation. And you thought to yourself, well, if he pitched very well, maybe he would solidify his spot in the rotation. But if he was shaky, then he'd probably come out in favor of Vicente Padilla. But Joe Torre said, I have to be assured by Padilla, not that he wants to come back. I have to be assured that he is ready to come back. Monasterios ready to make his 25th pitch, and it's foul back by Quinlan. 0-1 the count. For Carlos, a real struggle. He's had 7 3-ball counts, and he has walked 2. 0-1 to Rob Quinlan. 4-1 Angels, and all of this again with 2 out. Whoops! Here comes Joe Torre. So he was hoping that Monasterios could get out of the inning and he could hit for him. But now he's afraid to see the game just slip sliding away. And Joe is bringing out a hook, and that will do it for a downcast 24-year-old Carlos Monasterios. With that good 3-0 record, with that wonderful earned run average of 2.2, it just was not his day. Jess and Virgil Barnes, Jim and Gaylord Perry, Pat and Tom Underwood, Joe and Phil Necro, Greg and Mike Maddox, Ramon and Pedro Martinez, Alan and Andy Dennis, and Jeff and Jared. And don't you know, Rob Quinlan will be the batter with 2 out, inheriting a count of no balls and 1 strike. For Monasterios, he made 69 pitches, 4 runs, 7 hits. And with runners at first and third, his responsibilities as Weaver trying to get Quinlan and end the inning. So that makes it tough for the parents. How would you feel? Jeff looks in, getting a sign. Quinlan struck out back in the second inning. And a fake to third, a look at first. 0-1 the count. I think in all these years, I think that worked once that I've seen. Once. But they tried. Weaver looks over his left shoulder to see what's going on with Napoli. Now Jeff straightens up. And the strike one pitch coming up to the right-hand hitter Quinlan. With the runner going, it swung on and missed. And now the Dodgers have Kendrick hung up, coming down the line at third, and they're out of the inning. So Russell Martin took a good fake to Napoli and immediately threw to third, and they hang out Kendrick. And at the end of 2.5 innings, it's still 4-1. Here, bottom of the third inning, Angels leading the Dodgers 4-1, and for Jeff Weaver, he'll be going up against his brother. The old expression, live by the sword, die by the sword. Mike Scioscia loves his running club, but they ran out of the inning in the third inning when Kendrick was caught coming down after a good fake by Martin as if he was going after Napoli. So here's Jeff. Jeff is 6'5", and he is 34. Jared is 6'7", and he is 28. And they hook up. Jared ready and delivers, and Jeff takes a strike, and the count 0-1. And you roll back the clock, I'm sure, if you're mom and dad thinking, remember when they were little guys out in the backyard playing catch. Strike one pitch, swung on and missed, 0-2. Jared was talking about the fact he just as soon not face his brother. It's a lot easier just to pitch to the Dodgers as, quote, just another team. The strike two pitch is low. And he said when the game is over, we're going to go home and relax and have some pizza. But right now, Jared trying to get his brother 1-2 count. And it is off the plate. 2-2 the count. Jeff Weaver came up to the big leagues in 1999. Jared didn't sign a contract till 2004, and Weaver now is called out on strikes. So Jeff goes walking back to the dugout. 5 strikeouts for Jared, and with 1 out, the batter will be Rafael Furcal. Weaver this year had a big strikeout game against Tampa Bay in the middle of May. He struck out 12. That's his career high. So Jared working on Furcal, who took him downtown in the first inning. And Rafael, a strike. 26 times in his career, 14 times as a Dodger. Rafael Furcal led off a game with a home run. The strike one pitch is low, 1-1 the count. Angels scored 2 in the first, 2 in the third. Furcal homered in the bottom of the first, and that's it. 1-1 pitch on the way is swung on, ground ball to the right side to Kendrick. Howie makes the play. 2 out in the third, 5 in a row retired since Loney singled and stole second. Coming into this game, if there is an Achilles heel for Jared Weaver, he has always had problems with base stealers. In fact, going into through last year, since 2006, they were stealing at about an 81% success rate. But of course, at 6'7", there's a lot going on before he can release the ball. The 1-0 pitch on the way to Russell Martin, that's taken off the plate. Ball 2, 2-0. So Weaver is vulnerable to the stolen base, but you have to get on. And he's allowed just 2 hits and 1 run. The 2-0 pitch on the way to Russell Martin, swung on and foul back, and the count 2-1. Dodgers and Angels, final game of a 3-game series. And remember, the Angels have never swept the Dodgers 3 here at Dodger Stadium. They did do it in Anaheim. 2-1 pitch, breaking ball away, ball 3. So Jared Weaver, 3-1 on deck. Andre Ethier. Now the 3-1 pitch to Martin, high, ball 4. So Russell Martin goes to first. Weaver walking his first batter. And Andre Ethier, who struck out at a pitch above his shoulders in the first inning, coming up. Andre hitting .349 with 11 home runs and 40 runs batted in. Now remember, we told you that Weaver is very, very vulnerable to the stolen base. So right away we look up and see that Martin has stolen 3 out of 4. Ethier waiting, Weaver set, throws to first, and Martin goes back standing up. For the Dodgers, a question of whether they want to keep Quinlan on the bag at first. Kendrick plays deep on the grass at second base. 2 out. Andre hitting .349. Jared Weaver ready and deals off the plate. Ball 1. 1-0. 4 runs, 7 hits for the Angels. 1 run, 2 hits for the Dodgers. We're only in the 3rd inning. Jared straightens up. Martin a cautious lead at first, not going anywhere. And Ethier tries to time a slow curveball, and he almost fell down. I mean, he really let go a swing. 1-1. In fact, it could very well be that's one of the problems of the Dodgers, in the fact that they are trying too hard. 1 for 15 with runners in scoring position. Now the 1-1 pitch. Martin is holding, and it's swung on, and again Ethier winds up staggering out in front of home plate. 1-2 the count to Andre. So they are really coming up empty and expending a lot of energy on deck. Manny Ramirez. 2 out. Martin at first. 4-1 Angels in the 3rd. There goes Martin. The pitch very high. The throw right into the runner, and a great tag by Eyeball. Oh, What a wonderful tag by Eric Ibar, because if he doesn't catch it, that throw hits Russell Martin in the ribs. And Ibar was able to dominate, make the catch, make the tag, and get out of there. And at the end, working extremely hard behind the plate. First of all, he had to go down and dirty quite often with Monasterios way off the mark. And he finally, when he did have a chance, made the wonderful play in the rundown where he faked to second and then got Howie Kendrick trying to get back to third. Martin Ochel got the walk in the third inning, but maybe all that activity, he lost his step and was thrown out trying to steal on that fine tag by Eric Ibar. So in the fourth, and it'll be Rob Quinlan still up there, and he hits a hopper to the right side, one away. Well, we had brother to brother in the third inning when Jared struck out Jeff. Now let's see what Jeff can do against Jared, who faked a bunt and singled to right in the second inning. Strike, good fastball, 0-1. 4 runs, 7 hits, no errors for the Angels. 1 run, 2 hits, no errors for the Dodgers. Big high bouncer waiting for the hop. DeWitt will make the play. So 2 out in the fourth inning. It remains 4-1 Angels. 2 in the first, 2 in the third. Dodger run, a home run by Rafael Furcal in the first inning. Monasterios made 69 pitches, and now it's Weaver to Weaver. The Angels scored 2 in the third inning with 2 out on ground balls to DeWitt, and then home run, couple of doubles. So with 2 out, here's Ibar. Single, scored a run, hit into a double play. And he lifts one to right. Ethier moving over. Boy, he needed his experience on that fly ball. Right blue overhead. A 1-2-3 inning. And at the end of 3.5. choice is CarMax. By Toyota, get a great deal on Toyota's full line of hybrid and fuel-efficient vehicles at your Toyota dealers today. And by Corona. 4-1 in favor of the Angels. We go to the bottom of the fourth inning. And for the Dodgers, Ethier, Ramirez, and Loney coming up in that order. And the contrast is hot and cold. Look at those numbers. The 3 through 7 hitters batting .391 for the Angels and less than half a buck for the Dodgers. 17 RBIs to 1. And the Dodgers 2 for 40. That's going to go down the line, but foul all the way. 0-1. In watching the Angels have such a good series, it's hard to believe not too long ago they were 3 for 17 with men in scoring position, but that's the only bad game they've had in a while. 2-1 the count to Andre Ethier. And led by, well, everybody. Howie Kendrick, Torrey Hunter, fouled away. Kendrick was 5 for 10, and he's 1 for 2 today. So 6 for 12 from him. 2-2. Ethier struck out in the first inning and was up there when Martin was thrown out trying to steal, which was a good play to try and run on Jared. As we mentioned, he's had a lot of trouble with base running. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Did he? He just did hold up on a pitch out of the strike zone. It was pretty obvious watching him every day and then watching in this series. Dodger hitters are flat out trying too hard, swinging awfully hard, and chasing pitches out of the zone. And that's whacked to right. Abreu on the dead run takes another hit away from Andre Ethier. So Ethier has hit a lot of line drives at people in the last week, and that's just another one. And Manny Ramirez coming up. Ramirez struck out in the first inning. That's when Jared Weaver struck out the side. And a strike. Oh, and 1. And that's pulled down the line, hooking, and goes foul. Well, Manny will come back 0-2. You knew he was carrying the bat to first base. So he knew doubt from the moment he hit it that it was going to go foul. One out, fourth inning, 4-1 Angels trying to sweep the Dodgers for the first time ever here. Still 0-2. Good fastball in the mid-90s. Jared Weaver trying to win his 6th. He is 5-3, and he is 3-2 lifetime against the Dodgers. And Manny hammers another one. Then this one bouncer into the stand for the ground rule double. So he had some pretty good hacks said Jared Weaver, and finally doubled on the heels of Ethiop's line drive and the running catch by Abreu. And that's the Dodgers hitting at a sink, and James Loney will be coming up. One hop up and in. For Manny Ramirez, that would be his 10th double. And with one out, James Loney, who singled to right field in the second inning. For the Dodgers, that is their third hit against Weaver. Ball one. Trying to pick up Manny with one out. And a high pop fly. Kendrick has a play. And Manny has nowhere to go. So that's 1 for 16 with runners in scoring position. And the batter will be Ronnie Belliard, who fouled out in the second inning. Belliard hitting .273. He has 1 home run and 12 runs batted in. 4 runs, 7 hits for the Angels. 1 run, 3 hits for the Dodgers. Belliard 1 home run, 12 runs batted in. Ground ball wide at third. This turns to first, and the Dodgers are 1 for 17 with runners in scoring position. And at the end of 4-1 Angels. Southern California Ford dealers, where you'll find the new Transit Connect. Check it out at scforddealers.com. And by Loveza. We go to the 5th inning, 4-1 Angels. It'll be Izturis, Abreu, and Hunter against Jeff Weaver in relief of Carlos Monasterios. Youngsters growing up together, nice picture. One Dodger blue and the other Angel red. That's right. And later on they'll grow up and learn about blue states and red states when they're older. 0-1. Belliard on the edge of the grass. One hopper. Whoa, it staggers DeWitt, but he stays with it. That thing was hit. Nice play by play. One away.
Now batting number 53, Bobby Abreu.
Bobby Abreu Single is sounded to drive in a run and grounded out. 1-4-2. Abreu hitting .258. 7 home runs, 33 runs batted in. A strike. When Bobby hits with 1 strike in the count, he's hitting .338. Fouled away. 0 for 1. He has 9 hits. 1-1, 8 hits. 2-1, 5 hits. 3-1, 3. Put it all together, hitting .338 with a 1 strike count. Now it's 0-2. When he was with the Phillies, 6 different years he hit over 300. Fouled away. They had a discussion recently. I remember reading about it, and they were talking to Mike Scioscia about how he felt about Bobby Abreu. And Mike said, I think he deserves to go into the Hall of Fame. Oh, 0-2 to Bobby Abreu from Aragua in Venezuela. 1-2 the count. He has played over 150 games every year since 1998. And as usual, runs the count 2-2. Abreu is the incredible walking man. Because he's always deep in the count, figured out that over the last 10 years, no active player has walked as many times as Bobby Abreu. And there are only 3 players in history to have hit 200 home runs, stolen 300 bases, and maintained a 400 on-base percentage. Rickey Henderson, Barry Bonds, and Bobby Abreu. And he comes up with a base hit. So he's 2 for 3 with everything else. Oh, how well I remember him with the Phillies.
Number 48, Torrey Hunter.
1 year with the Phils, he had 110 RBIs, 31 home runs. He was just really coming into his own then. So his average of reaching at least 4 out of every 10 plate appearances continues. He's been on base 2 of 3 today. And here's Torrey Hunter, and there goes Abreu, and the throw down, short hop, goes into center field. Abreu will stay at second with a stolen base. So he's 36 years old, and he can still play. That's his 10th stolen base. And again, it's a typical Scioscia game. They had Ibar steal in the first inning. They had Jared Weaver fake a sacrifice, swing away for a base hit. They had one play backfire. That's when Napoli broke and they were trying to have Kendrick steal home, but that didn't work. But you can count on the Angels. They'll run all the time. So Abreu at second with 1 out. 4-1 Angels. Torrey was cut down trying to go from first to third. That was and is still an Angel trademark. And then last time up, Hunter hit a home run. 1-2. Torrey Hunter, 35 years old, the middle of July, 9 straight Gold Gloves. Had huge years with the Minnesota Twins. 2-2. Torrey has hit as many as 29 home runs. Most RBIs in one year, 107. But a great average over the last 5-6 years. Down he goes. So Hunter strikes out, 2 down in the 5th inning. And Hideki Matsui coming up.
Left fielder, number 55, Hideki Matsui.
Matsui, the left-hand hitter, has gone the other way. He singled a left in the 1st inning to drive in Abreu, and double a left on the heels of the home run by Hunter in the 3rd. Like Abreu, Matsui is now 36. That's right. The question was posed to Mike Scioscia without Kendry Morales. I mean, you're playing Mike Napoli and Rob Quinlan at first base. Don't you think you ought to go after a seasoned, maybe it's redundant, seasoned veteran first baseman? And Mike's theory is no, that would be against our policy. We're not going to give up a couple of young players to rent a player. Well, they're a half a game back at Texas, trying to win their 36th. Dodgers won back at San Diego. Last we heard, they were tied up 2-2. They're in the 7th inning, tied up 2-2. 2-1 the count to Hideki Matsui. Matsui, 6'2", 215. 36 yesterday. We told you about that number 55 he wears. They gave that to him in Japan. That's a strike. The Yomiuri Giants picked him first in the Japanese draft in 1992. And Sadaharu Oh's single season record for home runs was 55. So Yomiuri Giants hoped he'd break the record. Well, he never did. He hit as many as 50. But as he said, I don't feel any pressure at all. And ball 3. He wore 55 with the Yankees. And now wearing 55 like Russell Martin with the Angels. We told you about the bat the other night. He had his bats especially made for the major leagues. You see how thin the handle is. All the weight, because the major league pitcher's fastball moves so much. He wanted a little fatter bat up top and puts it to good use. He finally pulls the ball to drive in a run. And so for the Dodgers, it is really frustrating. They can't do it at all. And the Angels seem to be able to do it at will. And that is come up with a base hit with a runner in scoring position. So it is 5-1 Angels as Matsui goes 3 for 3. 2 singles and a double. Bobby Abreu scores. 5-1 Angels, and the batter is Howie Kendrick. Struck out and doubled. A strike. It was funny yesterday. They were asking Joe Torre, what do you think of Hideki Matsui? And Joey, with a straight face, said, I hate him. And then he broke up laughing. solid ball player, Hideki Matsui. 38 RBIs, 9 home runs, 3 for 3 today. So it's 5 runs, 9 hits for the Angels, and 1 run, 3 hits for the Dodgers. Merely a whimper of protest right now. That was the home run in the first inning by Furcal. 0-2. And a line drive knocked down by Weaver. Picks it up and then throws it over Loney's head into the stands. That'll put runners at second and third. So Jeff Weaver trying to make the most out of a bad situation. That line drive that hit him right about at the belt buckle. Mike Scioscia is appealing as to where the runners were when Weaver threw it over Loney's head. And he and Mark Carlson will discuss it. Here's the play. Jeff finds it, picks it up, underhands it over the head of Loney. Now the umpires are going to hold a little discussion. It'll be a base hit for Kendrick. And then he will go to second on the error. Matsui goes to second on the hit, goes to third on the error. But Scioscia maintains that Matsui should have been allowed to score. And Mike goes back to the dugout. The umpires go back to their positions. And the score remains 5-1. And the batter will be Mike Napoli.
Catcher number 44, Mike Napoli.
Napoli has walked twice, hitting .256, 9 home runs, 25 runs batted in. First base open. Ball 1 on deck. Rob Quinlan. One ball and no strikes. Fastball in there. 5 runs, 10 hits now for the Angels. 9 hits last night, 13 hits the night before. Foul back. 1-2. 2 away. Runners at second and third. 1 run in. And of course the base hit by Matsui drove in Abreu, of course, with 2 out. Way outside. Nice save by Martin. So deuces wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, 2 on. 5-1 Angels in the 5th. Two and 2 to Napoli. Ball 3. Three and 2 to the catcher. Got him. The Napoli strikes out. 1 run in, 2 left. And at the end of 4.5, 5-1 Angels. a home run. Howie Kendrick has a double and a single. Meanwhile, Jared Weaver has limited the Dodgers to 1 run, and that was the home run by Furcal, and a total of 3 hits. For the Dodgers, Reed Johnson, Blake DeWitt, and Jeff Weaver. That's right. Reed Johnson, playing for Matt Kemp, struck out in the second inning, 0 for 1. They're going to check. No swing, says Larry Vanover. 1 ball and 1 strike. Larry's the proud father of twin boys. They're 13 years old, and I'm imagining standing on that foul line, he's thinking about his own boys watching the Weavers, Jeff and Jared. Two and one, McCown. Two and two. Reed hitting .297, half a dozen runs batted in. Ronald Belisario moving around now and warming up, made 35 pitches last night. And strike 3 called. The Johnson called out becomes the 6th strikeout victim of Jared Weaver, and the batter will be DeWitt. So remember, you can cap off your holiday weekend with a fireworks spectacular on Monday, July 5th. Compliments of Hyundai. Dodgers and Marlins at 6:10, and all fans invited onto the field after the game to take in the show. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com or give us a call, 866-DODGERS. DeWitt flied to center in the second inning, 0 for 1. And that's lifted to right center. Cruising over is Abreu. So 2 down. Jamie Carroll will now come up and bat for Jeff Weaver. And I'm sure the Weaver family, the parents especially, heave a sigh of relief. Glad that's over. Don't have to watch their 2 sons go head to head anymore.
For the Dodgers, pinch hitting number 14, Jamie Carroll.
Jamie Carroll played last night at 2 walks and a double. Jamie hitting a very solid .292. Jamie's had just 1 pinch hit appearance, and he has a base hit, 1 for 1, and ball 1. 2 out in the 5th inning, 5-1 Angels. That's a strike. Five runs, 10 hits for the Angels. 1 run, 3 hits for the Dodgers. Off the plate, ball 2 with Rafael Furcal on deck. Fastball, 2-2. And lifted to shallow center. In fact, a trio of Angels. It will be the middleman, Ibar. So the Dodgers go out 1, 2, 3, and at the end of 5, it's 5-1 Angels.
And in the second game of the doubleheader, Walter Alston wrote 4 names in the lineup. At first base, Steve Garvey. At second, Davy Lopes. At short, Bill Russell. And at third, Ron Say. And that was the beginning. They were together for 8.5 years, leading the Dodgers to pennants in 1974, 77, and 78, and a World Championship in 81. It was finally broken up when Davy Lopes was traded to Oakland. Never see it again. Let's go back to this one.
Five to 1 in favor of the Angels. And Ronald Belisario right back to work after making 35 pitches last night. And a strike. So Rob Quinlan, followed by the pitcher Jared Weaver, who is not in the on-deck circle. Little ground ball. Loney is on it. Underhands to Belisario coming over. And we have one away. And Jared Weaver now making his way to the plate.
Pitcher number 36, Jared Weaver.
Jared Weaver single to right. That was the big play in the second inning, but it didn't pay off because Ibar followed by hitting into a double play. But it was typical of Mike Scioscia, who just does not like to sacrifice. So he had Weaver show bunt, and then he swung away and single to right. Strike. That's a strike. Couple of scores to fill you in on. Ball one. First of all, they're in the 8th inning down south, and the Mariners are leading the Padres 3-2. Jose Lopez doubled in Sean Figgins, and the Mariners lead the Padres 3-2 in the 8th. Padres a game in front of the Dodgers. That'll do it for Jared. Meanwhile, the Rockies are having their own way with the Toronto Blue Jays. Rockies are leading 10-3 in the 9th inning. And for good measure, the Giants are leading the A's 4-1 in the 7th inning. So 2 out, and the leadoff man Ibar. Single, hit into a double play, fly to right, 1 for 3, hitting .277, and he has been blazing hot. Strike. Ibar, switch hitter, batting left-handed, as you see, has had 12 hits in his last 22 at-bats. 1-1. Another very good thing is his play with the glove. Made 2 errors in the first 35 games. And a chopper to Loney. He'll take it to the bag. So it's one of those rare times the Dodgers retire the Angels for only the 2nd time in order. And at the end of 5.5, Angels 5, Dodgers 1. on, and Torrey Hunter puts the wood to the ball and drives it over the center field wall despite the effort by Reed Johnson. And for Torrey Hunter, his home run sparking the Angels to a 5-1 lead. For Torrey, he has 10 home runs, 45 runs batted in. And talking about home runs, Rafael Furcal coming up. He led off the ball game in the bottom of the first inning after the Angels had scored twice, and he hit one into the stands to make it 2-1. But that's really the last time this crowd has made any noise. It's slightly comatose, as is the Dodger offense. Dodgers 1 run, 3 hits, but only 2 hits since Furcal's leadoff home run. Rafael hitting .294. And a strike. Dodgers have only left 2 men in 5 innings. They have not threatened at all. 1-1. Weaver is coming off a bad game, but he certainly make up for it now. Foul back. Hunter's last game, Weaver's last game against Oakland, he went 6 innings and he allowed 12 hits and 6 runs. But as we said, he's had 9 games, 2 runs or less out of 13 starts. 1-2 the count to Rafael Furcal. Two and two. Five runs, 10 hits for the Angels. They've had a home run by Hunter. They had a double by Kendrick and by Matsui. The Dodgers have the home run by Furcal and a double by Ramirez. 2-2. Down goes Furcal. 7 strikeouts for Jared Weaver. His high 12 against Tampa Bay, but he's also had 9 against Kansas City, 8 against the Cardinals. He also had 8 against Toronto. So here's Russell Martin, struck out, walked, thrown out trying to steal. Ball 1. And lifted down the right field line. Abreu coming over, makes the play. So Martin a fly ball. 2 out in the 6th inning. It's 7 in a row retired by Weaver since Ramirez doubled, and the batter is Andre Ethier. Ethier struck out in the 1st inning and hit another line drive to right field, and this time it looked like he was gonna get that base hit that's eluded him, and Bobby Abreu made a fine running catch back in the 4th inning. Andre hitting .347. Strike. Ethier this year hitting .357 at home, putting up big numbers, including 8 home runs. But he pops this one up, and it's Kendrick. So the Dodgers go 1-2-3, 8 in a row retired since Ramirez doubled in the 4th, and at the end of 6, 5-1 Angels. 2-1 with a brilliant ERA of 1. And as far as the holds are concerned, where you hold on and then hand it to the closer, he has been excellent. He has 11 of those. He has walked 4 and struck out 21. So as Turris turns around to bat right-handed, he's 0 for 3. And here we go. Ball 1. Meiser, as a right-handed batter, hitting .308, but he's only had 13 at-bats from this side. 1-0. 2-0. In there. Jared Weaver has made 89 pitches through 6 innings. And that's popped up. Loney. So as Turris fouls out, goes 0 for 4. 1 away in the 7th. And Bobby Abreu checking in. Abreu singled to center to drive in a run, grounded to second, singled to center, stole second, and scored a run. Abreu hitting .261. Bobby with 7 home runs, 33 runs batted in, hitting just .181 against left-hand pitching. And a strike. 0-1. Getting back of him, Torrey Hunter. 1-1. The Mariners are up in the 9th inning in San Diego. Ichiro has just doubled in a run. So the Mariners 4, Padres 2 in the 9th. So the Dodgers hoping to get back into this game and or have the Padres lose and remain just 1 back. Two and 2. Dodgers heading for Cincinnati. Last time they were there, they lost 2 out of 3. And then Fenway Park in Boston. Poe throwing hard, 95, and 3-2 the count to Abreu. Slap foul out of play. So Abreu always deep in the count. 3-2. Cole has made 6 pitches. And he walked him. So Abreu reaches base for the 3rd time. And we have a minute. Let's put your thinking cap on. A question. Torrey Hunter has 9 Gold Gloves. Who are the only outfielders ever to win more than 9? Tell you in a little while. Meanwhile, Torrey has walked, homered, and struck out. Ball 1. Torrey Hunter has been very consistent, hitting .286 against left-handers and .288 against right-handers. And popped it up. Going out is DeWitt. Coming in is Ethier. Two down here in the seventh inning, and Hideki Matsui coming up, and the Dodgers unable to get him out. Matsui single a left to drive in a run, double a left, and then single to right to drive in a run. So he indeed has used the whole ballpark. 3 for 3, a couple of runs batted in. Did not play last night. That's foul. And in game one, he had a double to drive in 3 and an infield single. You know, when Hideki Matsui hit his first home run for the Yankees, it was an exhibition game here in the States, of course. It was 3 a.m. in Tokyo, and they said nearly 670,000 Tokyo residents were watching on television when he hit an exhibition home run. And when he hit a grand slam in his first game at Yankee Stadium, a newspaper churned out a 2-page special section. Godzilla. But in Japan, Godzilla is very humble, very kind and gentle. The heart of Godzilla pure. Over here we think of it as a monster. 1-2. And strike 3 at the outside corner. Down he goes. They leave Abreu, who walked. And at the end of 6.5 innings, 5-1 Angels. Now we'll have God Bless America, followed by against Jared Weaver, who has limited the Dodgers to 1 run, 3 hits, more importantly, 1 walk and 7 strikeouts. The walk came to Russell Martin in the 3rd. Manny Ramirez struck out in the 1st inning when Weaver struck out the side and doubled in the 4th. Ball 1. Manny 1 for 2, hitting .274. Flips it foul out of play, way off to the right. 1-1 the count. Well, again, you wonder, it will be so very interesting what kind of a reception, or I guess you should say how many kinds of receptions Manny will receive when the Dodgers go to Boston. 1-2. I mean, after all, they should remember 2 World Series. But will they? Remember, the Dodgers would be playing Friday night. That's prime ticket. Then Saturday afternoon, the Fox Network, and Sunday evening, ESPN. From Fenway Park. 2-2. Down in the Dodger bullpen, Justin Miller loosening up. Ball 3 to Manny. Outside of the home run by Furcal, the Dodgers have not had a round. I mean, Loney singled and stole second in the 2nd inning, and Ramirez doubled with 1 out in the 4th, but that's it. So it's still 5-1. Russell Martin 0 for 2 with a walk, was thrown out trying to steal, but he's expended an awful lot of energy behind the plate. 3-2 to Manny. Foul back. Weaver challenging, fastball up and in. Jared had made 89 pitches coming into the inning. So yet to make 100 pitches. The boos in the stands directed at a fan who obviously failed to make the play on the foul ball. We're in the 7th, 5-1 Angels. Weaver made one game so far this year, 120 pitches. And when he made the 120 pitches, he lasted 7 innings. That was against Tampa Bay. Then he keeps fouling them off. This will be the 10th pitch of this at-bat. So it's going to be an 11-pitch at-bat. Hard-throwing Kevin Jepson begins to throw now in the Angel bullpen. So an 11-pitch at-bat. 3-2. And a high fly ball into left center field. This one carrying to the track and bouncing off the wall. Manny into second base with a double. And Jared Weaver gestured to Mike Napoli as if to say, what are you going to do? I gave him everything. And after 10 pitches, he hits the 11th pitch for a double. And Jared kind of walking around a little stunned. And Mike Napoli going out to talk to him. Manny came so close to hitting it out, but not quite. But on the 11th pitch, he hits it to right center. And you can see Willits and Hunter watching the ball short hop the wall. So the Dodgers have Ramirez with 2 doubles. And the batter will be Loney. But that gesture by Jared Weaver, that told it all. What the heck are you going to do with this guy? Loney has singled and popped up. Yet another Dodger in scoring position. Strike. Dodgers left Loney at second in the second inning. They left Ramirez at second in the fourth. And now they have Manny at second again. And a drive to right. Going back on the ball is Abreu, and this one is off the wall. Manny had to hold up. Now he's on his way to score on a double by Loney. And it is 5-2 Angels. So Mike Scioscia heading out to the mound as the Dodgers put together back-to-back hits. After that 11 pitch at bat by Ramirez when he doubled, Loney then doubled, and that will be all for Jared Weaver. And hard-throwing Kevin Jepson, who was throwing aspirin tablets last night, will be gesture was about what a great hitter Ramirez is. What are you going to do with him on 11 pitches? But in retrospect, we're now thinking maybe he felt the ball should have been caught. Torrey Hunter finally playing it off the wall. And now you see him throw his arms out a second time. And now you really get that thought reinforced. Why do pitchers get angry? Well, I guess he thought it should have been caught. So Belliard now facing Jepson, who threw so hard last night. Foul back, 0-1. 5-2 in favor of the Angels. Dodgers finally making a little noise, and the crowd followed with noise of their own. Fouled away, 0-2. Pretty hard to catch up on Jepson. He's 6'3" and 210. And he's the boy who was born in Anaheim. I mean, he was really born to be an Angel. Among other things, in the then Anaheim Stadium, his grandmother Judy sold parking lot tickets. Her daughter worked as an usher. He was a parking lot attendant down there. So, born in Anaheim, and here he is. He now lives over in Nevada. He's 6'3", 210, and threw very hard last night. And that's going to go foul down the line. Still 1-2. He's got a sinking two-seamer that he gets up to 96. His four-seamer has been clocked up to 99. Then he has a big 12-6 curveball, straight change, and for good measure, the pitching coach, Mike Butcher, taught him a cutter last June. 1-2. Fastball. Final score down south. The Mariners have defeated the Padres 4-2. The small consolation to the Dodgers, but consolation nevertheless. If they lose, they'll remain one back of the Padres. The Giants, however, beat the A's again, so the Giants are 1.5 games back. Belliard with 12 runs batted in, trying to pick up Loney at second. Two and two the count. Two years ago, Jepsen made his major league debut, and what a debut. He came in and retired Derek Jeter, Bobby Abreu, and Alex Rodriguez, and he now retires Belliard. The Belliard goes 0 for 3, 1 out. 8 Dodgers have struck out so far, and Reed Johnson, who has struck out twice against Weaver, now facing Jepsen. Jepsen with 27 strikeouts, 12 walks. So a little better than 2-1. Fastball strike. 93. Reed hitting .293, 0-1. On deck, Blake DeWitt. Fastball squirted down to short, and they get him. Reed Johnson was guessing fastball, I believe. He started his swing early to try and catch up, and he got a slider, which he hit off the end of the bat. That was a cue ball shot down to shortstop. So 2 out. There you can see briefly on TV. And Loney advancing to third. Blake DeWitt trying to pick him up, and Mike Butcher going out to instruct Jepsen how they want to pitch DeWitt. And Garrett Anderson comes out on deck. DeWitt did not play last night when Jepsen was in, so we'll just go over it with him. Blake hitting .271. He has 1 home run, 22 runs batted in. Throwing as hard as he does, and as we always do with a runner at third, Jepsen has 3 wild pitches. Ball 1. 5 runs, 10 hits for the Angels. 2 runs, 5 hits, and an error for the Dodgers. Home run by Furcal and back-to-back doubles by Ramirez and Loney. Ball 2. And ball 3. So Garrett Anderson, should he have a chance to get up to the plate, he would represent the potential tying run, which would add a little more interest to this Dodger Angel game. 3-0 to Blake DeWitt. strike. Blake flied to center, flied to right. 0 for 2. Breaking ball fouled off. He hit 97 with the fastball, so he can really bring it. Kevin Jepsen, Jepsen. Pulled to the ground, through, base hit to right field. So Loney brings it in to make it 5-3, and now one of the great Angels of the past wearing the blue, representing the tying run and coming up. And for Jared Weaver, he will take a hike. He's had enough. He made 102 pitches and pitched exceptionally well. So here's Garrett Anderson. Last night, Anderson came off the bench and singled to center. Five-3 Angels were in the 7th inning. On deck, Rafael Furcal. Ball 1. And a strike. He's staying right at 97 on a lot of those fastballs. 1 ball and 1 strike. Two and 1. Tried his curveball, but nothing much happened on that one. 2 balls, 1 strike. Fastball hit into right field. Base hit. Abreu was deep, and nevertheless, DeWitt will hold at second. So now the tying runs are on base, and Rafael Furcal coming up. So the Dodgers 3 runs on 7 hits. 4 hits in the inning. 5-3 Angels, 2 on, 2 out. And Rafael now hitting left-handed. Homered, grounded out, struck out. And a strike. The importance, of course, Rafael left or right. Hitting only 233 right-handed, but well over 300 left-handed. One and 1. Francisco Rodriguez up, right-hander in the Angel bullpen. One and 1. And ball 2, 2 and 1. Two on, 2 out. DeWitt and Anderson. Two and 2. Anderson at first base representing the tying run. Five runs, 10 hits for the Angels. 3 runs, 7 hits for the Dodgers. Jared Weaver went 6+ back-to-back doubles, and he came out. Squirted back to the box, and that will be that. For the Dodgers, they come up with 2 runs, 4 hits, lead 2, and at the end of 7. The outfield as ever to win more. And the answers would be Roberto Clemente, Ken Griffey Jr., Andrew Jones, Willie Mays, and Al Kaline, the Magnificent Five. You know, the record for outfield is 12 Gold Gloves by both Willie Mays and Roberto Clemente. The record for any position Gold Gloves, the incomparable Greg Maddux, as the pitcher won 18 Gold Gloves, believe it or not. Justin Miller now telling James Loney to look out for a bunt, and Howie Kendrick checks in. Kendrick struck out double, single. Sure enough, there's the bunt, and it goes foul. Justin Miller certainly read the scouting report. 0-1 to Howie, who has struck out, doubled, and singled. He hit that line drive that caught Jeff Weaver in the upper body, and then Jeff, scrambling after it, tried to underhand the ball to Loney and flipped it over his head. So Kendrick was 5 for 10. And now he has 2 more hits to give him 12 hits in the series. As he smokes that one to right center, but Reed Johnson makes the play. So Kendrick a tough out, 1 out in the 8th inning. And the batter will be Mike Napoli. Down in the Angel bullpen, Fernando Rodney begins to warm up. Jared Weaver won 6 innings plus, 3 runs, 5 hits, a walk, 7 strikeouts. And a towering fly ball to left field. Manny going back to the track, at the wall, gone. Mike Napoli gets his 10th home run of the year. 26 runs batted in, and that opens it up again. Angels 6, Dodgers 3. So for Mike Napoli, how sweet it is having struck out 4 times in the first game of the series. He got one up and hit it out. Up there, breaking ball. So it is 6-3 Angels, and now Rob Quinlan And Michael Ryan, an outfielder, comes out on deck. He's a left-hand batter. So Napoli bangs one out. 6-11-0 for the Angels. 3-7-1 for the Dodgers. Jeff Weaver stands to win. Carlos Monasterio stands to lose unless the Dodgers can get off the floor. 1-1. Foul ball. Quinlan has struck out, grounded out twice, 0 for 3. Two and two. Angels have 2 home runs today, Hunter and Napoli. So the Angels have 69 home runs. The Dodgers have 48. 3-2 to Quinlan. Rob didn't figure to play very much when Kendry Morales was healthy. Now he's in there. Fouled away. Three and two. And another foul ball. Remind you of that at bat Manny Ramirez had, an 11 pitch at bat against Jared Weaver and then doubled into the gap in left center. Check swing. They're going to look. No swing. So ball 4. For Jared Weaver, when he gave up that double to Ramirez, he was obviously affected. Our guess at first was that he just couldn't believe that Manny hit the pitch, but then in watching him again, we had the feeling he thought the double should have been caught. Either way, that was followed by the double by Loney, and they figured that would be enough for Jared. So here's Mike Ryan. Ryan appeared as a pinch hitter last night, grounded out, and a strike. Michael is from Pennsylvania, Indiana, Pennsylvania. He's from Indiana High School. 5'11", 210. Been around. He'll be 33 in July. Runner goes and the pitch fouled away. So Socia running his ball club to the very end. Final score, the Giants beat the A's 6-2. The Rockies beat the Blue Jays 10-3. So the Giants move up a notch. They are a game and a half behind San Diego. Dodgers will see the Giants in San Francisco on the 28th. 1-2 the count to Mike Ryan. Ryan hitting .216, 2 runs batted in. Played defensively, finishing up the game in left field in game 1. One ball and 2 strikes. When the Dodgers come up in the bottom of the 8th, they will have Martin, Ethier, and Ramirez. 1-2. Down in the Dodger bullpen, you rarely see him warming up with the team down by 3, but Jonathan Broxton is beginning to stretch out. So down goes Mike Ryan. Pretty good slider put him away. And the batter will be Eric Ibar. Ibar single to right, hit into a double play, flied to right, grounded to first. So Eric is 1 for 4. Russell Martin going out to talk to Miller about how to try and get him out. Ibar has had a dozen hits in his last 23 at-bats. Well, he's off to a great start this month. He's had 17 hits in this his 8th game. Eric batting .276. And there goes the runner, missed at the plate, the throw, not in time. So Rob Quinlan steals second base. For Quinlan, his first stolen base. Just did get in there ahead of the tag. So with 2 out, it was really a hit and run play. Ibar failed to connect, but Quinlan credited with a stolen base. Little ground ball to Loney, and he'll do it himself. So 1 run, the home run by Mike Napoli, 1 left, and at the end of 7 1/2, 6-3 Angels. With 2 runs in the very first inning. Now they bring in Fernando Rodney. And a reminder, if you look at the remaining days on the calendar, the Dodgers have 3 games at home, and those 3 with the Yankees. The club leaves tomorrow, 3 in Cincinnati, 3 with the Red Sox. Then a Monday off date before going to Anaheim for 3. Then the Yankees come here and the Dodgers move on to San Francisco and Arizona. And for the Dodgers, they have a fine record at home. They're 23-12 right now. They are 1 game under 500 on the road. Fernando Rodney out of Samana in the Dominican Republic, about 5'11", 220, originally signed by the Tigers. Ball 1. We were talking about Rodney last night because he is rather unusual, full of stories about, first of all, he, for the fun of it, can make a sound of like a screaming eagle. That's been one of his trademarks to keep the clubhouse loose. Somewhere in his glove he has his dad's name, and he has his son's picture inside his cap, or at least he used to. 2-0 the count to Martin. Strike, 2-1. Then the story goes he once saved 3 bags of hair to give to his mother after a teammate gave him a haircut in Baltimore. And then the really interesting thing is when he was with the Tigers last year, ball 3. He wore such a lethal looking tooth around his neck, the team worried he might accidentally stab himself with it. So he got the hint, stop wearing it while in uniform. So a bit of a character, singing, making bird sounds, deep baritone. He has another voice they say sounds like a frog. He's got to be a good guy to have around. That's a strike. 3-2. Fernando Rodney, 29 years old. Tigers signed him in 1997, and he made it in 2002. Stayed with him right through last year. And ball 4. So Rodney walks Martin. That'll bring up Andre Ethier, who is 0 for 3. Ethier struck out, lined out to right, and popped up. The Angels 6 runs, 11 hits, including home runs by Hunter and Napoli. They've also had doubles by Matsui and Kendrick. The Dodgers 3 runs, 7 hits. They have doubles by Ramirez and Loney and a home run by Furcal. Bottom of the 8th, 6-3 Angels. And that's hit to deep right. If it's fair, it's gone. It is going to be foul. So Ethier being tormented, either hitting the ball just foul or hitting a line drive at somebody. And his average now at 345. For Rodney, with a record of 4-0, he's only allowed 1 home run. He fights it, however. He's walked 18 and struck out 17. 1 ball, 1 strike. On deck, Manny Ramirez. The Angels have never swept a 3-game series at Dodger Stadium. They're trying to do it today. Fouled away. They got close in the past. They won the first 2 games of a series here in 2004 and 2005, but each time they lost the final game of the series. But this time they're leading 6-3, trying to sweep in the bottom of the 8th. Last team to sweep the Dodgers here, Houston, in May 2008. Foul back. Still 1-2 to Andre Ethier. Two and two. Rodney, despite the fact he fights his control, has an earned run average of 2.5. Two and two to Ethier. Fouled away. Of course, what would really wake up this crowd would be if Ethier gets on and Manny Ramirez comes up representing the potential tying run. Then you would hear some noise. Martin at first, nobody out. And popped up. Going out is Ibar. Holding at first is Martin. Ethier goes 0 for 4, and we have 1 out. And Ramirez coming up.
The fielder, number 99, Manny Ramirez.
Manny struck out in the first inning. That's when Jared Weaver struck out the side. Then he doubled in the 4th inning, a one-hopper into the lower deck in left field. Then he hit the ball in the gap in left center for a double, and Jared Weaver was visibly upset. And we had the feeling perhaps Jared thought the ball should have been caught. Here's Manny, 6-3 Angels, 8th inning, 2 for 3. Ball 1 on deck, James Loney. Manny trying to slow everything down. And ball 2. So it went 2-2 battling Ethier, got him to pop up. Now Rodney behind 2-0 to Ramirez. Fastball punched on a hop into right field. Martin will kick it into gear and go to third. So Manny comes up with his 3rd hit. Dodgers at first and third with 1 out, and James Loney coming up. James Loney singled to right in the 2nd inning, popped up in the 4th, and doubled to right in the 7th. Loney batting .290, 5 home runs, 37 RBIs, an anxious moment for Mike Sosa. Rodney pitched the 8th inning last night, got Loney to ground to short. He has a great changeup, and that's what we just saw. In fact, Larry Parrish, who managed him at Toledo, said his changeup is as good as Pedro Martinez's. It's one of the best I've ever seen. Well, Loney just swung at it. 0-1. And that's stroked into right center. And that's going to roll all the way to the wall. So Martin scores. Here comes Manny. He will score. And it's 6-5 Angels. And Loney is at second base. Butcher, the pitching coach for the Angels, going out to the mound to talk to Rodney. In the inning, Martin walked. Ethier popped up. Ramirez came up with his 3rd hit, a ground single to right. And now Loney doubles to right center to drive in 2. So Manny is 3 for 4, and Loney is 3 for 4. For Loney, that would be his 17th double. He has 3 RBIs today. They give him 39. And James now represents the tying run, 1 out, and the batter is Ronnie Belliard. Belliard has fouled out, grounded out, struck out, hitting .266. Appeared as a pinch hitter last night and flied to right. Ball one. Francisco Rodriguez is now warming up in the Angel bullpen. Angels 6, Dodgers 5. One away. Fastball misses. On deck, Reed Johnson. Dodgers have already used Carroll and Anderson as pinch hitters. And the strike. 2-1. Came back with a changeup. That's the money pitch. 6 runs, 11 hits for the Angels, 5 runs, 9 hits for the Dodgers. Fastball. So after the change, you get the express. 2-2. James Loney might change his name to Lonely if they fail to pick him up. Yep. Belliard chasing a bad pitch way out of the strike zone. But then again, it was a fastball about 93. So Belliard strikes out a second time. And the batter now, Reed Johnson. Johnson struck out twice, grounded out. So Rodney has given up a walk, a single, a double for 2 runs. The Dodgers haunted by now of leaving runners in scoring position, and especially now with the tying run out there. 0-1. Oh, and 1. Fouled away. The Angels have been in 16 one-run games. They're 9-7. The Dodgers have been in 21 one-run games. They're 15-6. But in one-run games here at Dodger Stadium, that's the big edge. The Dodgers have won 10 of 11. And popped up. A convention, and it will be Ibar. So the Dodgers lead the tying run at second base. There's some poetry in that after this series. And at the end of 8, 6-5 Angels. Mike Napoli becomes the Hyundai key to the game, because with 1 out in the 8th inning, he faced Justin Miller, got a breaking ball up out of the plate, hit a towering fly ball home run, and right now that's the difference in the game. When he hit it, it made it 6-3 in favor of the Angels. Now it's 6-5. Jonathan Broxton, coming out of the Dodger bullpen in rather unusual circumstances, he comes in with the Dodgers down by a run. 8 of his 16 saves this year, he has come in to protect a 1-run lead. He also has 15 straight saves, but here he's trying to just shut the Angels down. Messrs is Torres, Abreu, and Hunter. Ball 1. For Broxton, making his first appearance, he did pitch the final game against the Cardinals, and he was roughed up a little bit, gave up a single and a double for a run. His Torres batting .242. Ball 2. So for Broxton, he pitched Wednesday night, off Thursday, Friday, Saturday. This would be his 4th day. 2-0. In there. The paid attendance today, another fine crowd on a beautiful Sunday, 52,776. So we've had 52,000 for each game of the 3-game series. High fly ball to right, shallow. DeWitt goes out. Ethier comes in with the easier play. And we have 1 out, top of the 9th inning. You know, the Dodgers opening day outfield comes to life this season, a series of collectible action figures. The next giveaway game Thursday, July 8th. First 15,000 kids receive their own Captain Clutch, presented by Claim Jumper Restaurants. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com or call 866-DODGERS. By the way, Matt Kemp is now in center field, talking about the action figures. And Kemp would bat 9th and bat 2nd when the Dodgers hit in the bottom of the 9th. You would put Broxton in Johnson's spot if you're keeping score. So Bobby Abreu, single to center, grounded to second, single to center, and walk. He has driven in a run. He has stolen a base. Down in the Angel bullpen, their closer, Brian Fuentes, loosening up. Fuentes came in last night in the 9th inning. Made 17 pitches, gave up 2 singles and a walk, but got away with it. 2-0. Three and 0 to Bobby Abreu. Abreu 1 for 2 in the past against Broxton. Torrey Hunter on deck. He's 1 for 3 in the past. In there. One out, top of the 9th, 6-5 Angels. Line drive, base hit to center. So Abreu at 36 has 3 hits and a walk, a stolen base, and a run batted in. He made a fine running catch of a ball by Ethier. Otherwise, Bobby hadn't done anything. Boy, he can play. Give you an idea. And it's always been Abreu. He's always deep in the count, never swings at the first pitch. In his 5 plate appearances today, he saw 31 pitches. A little more than 6 pitches in at bat. He's remarkable. Torrey Hunter, ball one. Now Abreu stole second in the 5th inning. Hunter checking with Dino Abel. Torrey walked, homered, struck out, flied to right. One and 0. That's a strike. 1-1. Slider in the zone. When Abreu stole second in the 5th inning, that gave him 10 out of 15. 1 ball and 1 strike. Torrey Hunter, with his 45 runs batted in, has struck out 45 times. And a fly ball into right center, but Ethier has a play. So Abreu back to first with 2 down. And the batter will be Reggie Willits, who finished up the game in left field for Hideki Matsui. Meanwhile, Juan Rivera kind of hanging around. Rivera last night had a home run and a single. So here's Willits. Willits, a switch hitter, batting .267. .242 batting left-handed. Now with 2 out, they have to watch Abreu for sure. Ball 1. Willits, no home runs, 2 runs batted in, and in this spot might very well want to run Abreu to see if he can't pick up an extra run. Boy, Broxton really watching Abreu. Watching him so much he missed the zone again. 2-0. And a throw to first, and the Angels are really going to argue. Alfredo Griffin arguing with first base umpire Larry Vanover, and Martin gets 5s in the Dodger dugout. Take another look. With a left-hand hitter up, Martin casually walked out, fired, and Abreu claimed he was on the bag. Alfredo Griffin claimed he was on the bag, but Larry Van Owen said no, and we're heading to the bottom of the 9th, 6-5 Angels. picked off 2-3 Martin Loney. And now we go to the bottom of the ninth inning. Casey Blake will bat for Blake DeWitt against the left-hander Brian Fuentes. 6-5 Angels, bottom of the ninth. Ball one. Casey Blake is 4 for 6 in the past against Brian Fuentes. Ball two. Last night, Fuentes pitched the ninth inning, and Blake did not bat against him. Casey went 0 for 3 last night, 2 ground balls and struck out. Strike. 6 runs, 12 hits for the Angels, 5 runs, 9 hits for the Dodgers. Fuentes the 4th Angel pitcher. Dodgers used 6 pitchers. Fouled away. 2-2. Casey Blake hitting .258. He has 7 home runs, 27 runs batted in. He'll be followed by Matt Kemp and then Rafael Furcal. Remember, Kemp came in with Broxton. Broxton went into Johnson's spot, and Kemp went into the number 9 spot. Ball 3. So Kemp, who has been in a funk, 0 for his last 15, on deck. Brian from Merced, 35 years old in August, 6'4", 230. Fouled away. Brian Fuentes was originally signed by the Mariners at a Merced Junior College and finally made it to the Mariners for 1 year in 01. Then to the Rockies from 02 through 08, 7 years in Colorado, and last year with the Angels. Big pitch, 3-2. And ball 4, and the tying runs aboard. So Matt Kemp was going to have the day off, have a chance to reflect, have a chance to watch the game, and here he is in the 9th inning. Matt 0 for 4, struck out twice last night. 0 for 4, struck out twice the night before. Well, he was going to rest until now. He's just 1 for 8 in the past against Fuentes. Ball 1. Brian Fuentes with a high ERA over 5. He has saved 9. He has walked 7 and struck out 20. Mike Napoli looking over to Mike Socia for the moment. And a strike, 1-1. Kemp hitting .266, 11 home runs, 33 runs batted in. Blake's the tying run at first. 1-2. For Matt Kemp, he has struck out 69 times, way out in front of anybody else on the club. On deck, Rafael Furcal. Two and 2. $52,776. Seeing the Dodgers try to come back. Brian Fuentes, fastball, change, curve, and slider. And the tying run, Casey Blake at first. 2-2 to Matt. Fastball fouled off. Fuente's fastball has been clocked up to 92. Ryan had 48 saves for the Angels last year as the Dodgers look on. 2-2. Foul tip held, and down goes Kemp. So Matt strikes out again, 1 out, and Rafael Furcal the batter. 70 times now Matt Kemp has struck out. The closest to him would be Casey Blake, who struck out 44. Anyway, here's Furcal. Homered, grounded out, struck out, hit back to the box. Hit the home run left-handed. All of his good numbers are as a left-handed batter. Ball 1. So Fuentes has been behind each of the 3 hitters. Walked Blake, struck out Kemp, and he's behind 1-0 to Furcal with Russell Martin on deck. Rafael 3 for 9 against him. Strike. 1-1. Russell Martin on deck is 1 for 10 against Fuentes. One ball, 1 strike. And a towering foul ball. I mean, it left home plate foul. No doubt about it. How about that? 5 players in Major League history have a leadoff and a walk-off in the same game. Well, he led off. Hamilton, Power, Erstad, Johnson, and Kinsler. Reed, of course, with the Dodgers. Darren, a great Angel. 1-2. Big bounce to the shortstop. Ibar for 1 to first. Double play, and it's over. So a 6-4-3 double play, and the Angels perform a first. First time the Angels have swept a 3-game series here at Dodger Stadium, and it shows you the life of the elevator involved with a ball club. The Dodgers were a mile high after sweeping the Cardinals for the first time ever at Dodger Stadium, and they turn around and hit the basement by losing 3 straight to the Angels. The only saving grace for the Dodgers today, the fact that San Diego lost and they remain 1 game back. However, the Giants are making noise. The Giants are a game and a half back, and to put it another way, just a half a game behind the Dodgers, who now go out on the road. The Dodgers finish up 8-5 on the homestand. The Angels have a great road trip. They wind up going 11-3. The Angels go home, and the Dodgers go to Cincinnati, Boston, and then to Anaheim. Stay tuned for Dodgers Live, and it's coming up next. Until then, good afternoon, everybody.